The discipline. I mean, our head coach will certainly be out in front, Scott will be out in front, but you'll find if you're not familiar with JD in due course, he's just terrific at that. I mean, it's a natural thing for him. He connects really well. He understands. He's honest and forthright, and he's quite credible for good reason.
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good to see you again. Doing well, thank you. Yeah, it is good. I wish we had a playing reason.
Yeah. The fact that you're getting all this credit, John Davidson being, everyone's now raving about the Blue Jackets Priest doing Business Matters, Craig Patrick, John Davidson. Does that say that maybe you guys weren't so far away as the perception was?
Well, I honestly believe that you're never quite as bad as some think you are, and you're never really as good as some think you are. And everyone has worked and stayed true to the overall mission. Last year in particular, there was such a high and it's such a low. And when sometimes that happens, it's tough to recover from that. So, people have remained focused, they've remained dedicated to building a championship, and they've remained, and I give great credit to them for staying course to do what they believed was right versus what was popular. But we've believed for a long time, the entire organization, Scott included, that the more help you can have, the more expertise and leadership you can have, the better you are. But it's not an easy thing to acquire. Okay, I've said this many times, you're trying to find a player. You're not going to the grocery store buying a gallon of milk. It doesn't work that way. So when these opportunities, when you find these opportunities, you want to take advantage of it, because for quite some time, we have looked to enhance our talent. We were able to find Craig Patrick. It worked out well. He came in. He's adding value to Scott. You can hear JD speak to his experience level. So now you add someone the caliber of JD to that mix. So you really start to round out a really strong group as an organization, and it's all about people. If you get the right people pulling together in a team effect, then you're gonna win.
Can you give me an example of a decision that the Blue Jackets made that was unpopular that now you might expect out of curiosity?
No, I would just say in generalities, when you look to try to make splashes, and you may have internal discussions about the splashes, but that's all it really is a splash. And I don't really want to go into specifics, because some of we didn't do, or some you may do. Sometimes you acquire an asset that you think is going to be exactly what the team needs. Everybody who writes about it thinks it's what the team needs, and the fact of the matter is it couldn't have been farther from it, as it proved to be. All made at the time with the circumstances, the facts, it made sense. But when you find that isn't, you got to correct it. And so they've continued to do those things. They've continued to work to better. I'm convinced that with JD, we're a better organization. We're much closer to being a world-class organization, and that's what you do. As he said, brick at a time. Well, this is another brick towards that end.
Do you feel like you had plenty of bricks in the wall to begin with?
I think we have certainly bricks in the wall, but we certainly know there are more bricks to be laid, and that never changes. I mean, an organization continues to change, so you're always building. I don't think you ever finish the wall or the building, if you will. But because even teams that win the Stanley Cup, you'll see the next year they're tweaking something because there was some reason why they felt they needed a different brick. But there are many things that are going in a better direction. It's taken a while and probably longer than many of us would like for some of those bricks to be laid. But there have been more bricks laid, and they're being laid. And with JD here, I'm quite confident that he and the staff that he wants to work with will get it done.
Well, you showed a certain degree of selflessness in helping the Blue Jackets to make this move. Before you were president, and there was no president of hockey operations. It looks now as if you're sharing a title, giving something. Did you have to be to be selfless?
You know, first off, it isn't about me or being selfless or anything of the nature. My role.
I'd like to give you credit for being
Well,
selfless.
I appreciate that, but you know, I'm a lot better off behind the scenes than out in front of the scenes. That's more where my expertise lies. I don't see it as sharing it. I see it as a wonderful opportunity to add someone who I have great respect for. I know he's succeeded at everything he's done, and he's going to continue to succeed. So, and many times, and not to be, a lot of people really didn't understand the role that I shared in the organization, and perhaps gave it more than it should have been. My background is not on ice, and so we have to hire that, and we have to rely on that. So when I get involved, it is because of the business aspects of those, to understand them, to make sure they're communicated properly, and if we're going to make a commitment in dollars, everybody understands what's it mean. How that's going to work on the ice or how it helps build the team is something that we rely on people to tell us those things. So I didn't make those decisions before. I won't make those decisions going forward. I wanted people to make sure they understood that with JD, that you know, this department is the ones that has the authority to do that. We'll continue to support them. We'll continue to work with them on business matters, financial matters, understanding what they're saying or doing, and my role is to make sure that I work with Larry Hefner and that group as I continue to, from a business perspective. I protect the interest of the ownership, and I make sure that I execute what the ownership's goals are, and I'll continue to do that on the business side. I'll continue to do that with the hockey organization, but with JD, you know, it's another layer between the general manager now and ownership, because our ownership and me, that's not our background, and it hasn't been. So we've always needed to hire that expertise. Now, we've learned a great deal, and we all have pretty informed opinions about things at this point, but at the same token, one of the best things you can do as an organization from an ownership perspective is to hire outstanding people who are qualified to do what they do and allow them to do it. And that's what you have in this case. We will allow them to do it.
You mentioned investment of dollars. I don't know JD's numbers, but I can't imagine that he was a small investment of dollars. You had one of the highest payrolls last season that was played. Just what does it say about the ownership? Even in the midst of lockout, guys are, you know, you're not bringing in that revenue and you're making this money.
It's a commitment to win. It's a hard commitment to win. This ownership group has been so committed to this process. I can tell you the people who work in this organization are committed to that process. And when you get these opportunities, you must take advantage of them, irrespective of when they happen, because they don't come around every day. And I know firsthand, I've searched a long, long time for ways to enhance our organization. I know Scott Housen has searched a long, long time for ways to enhance the organization. And this is an opportunity that you take advantage of.
Did you feel like you were racing Calgary?
I had great confidence, honestly, in the opportunity that we had. And, you know, all you need to do is make sure they understand it, be straightforward, honest with them, provide what they need. Because if you don't have a situation where someone sees it for what it is and wants to be there, then it doesn't work, no matter how bad one side wants it. So they can't be one-sided. They have to be win-wins. And so I had full confidence. When you really look under the covers of this organization, there's some really great things. When you really understand the passion of our fans, it's really good. I know they're frustrated, and they should be. I know that they care, and that's what matters. And what we want to make sure they understand is that we care about them, and we are and will provide a winning product. And I think today helps us immensely towards that goal, and we're going to keep pushing.
On terms of the business side, you mentioned using the visibility, getting to the interest. How does John Davidson raising the team's visibility not only locally but nationally help with that?
It's a big help. First off, John Davidson, there's not anyone in not only the National Hockey League, but in most sports that he doesn't know or knows someone that knows. So that credibility, that instant knowledge and respect that he has around our industry is extremely important. When we, if and when we need to find additional resources, there's a good opening. He knows people to call. He knows someone. He'll have a history with them. If we're looking to, these are minor things, but let's say we need some celebrity to come in and join us for a foundation event, perhaps. JD has the ability to pick up the phone and make that happen. So it's all of these ancillary businesses, ancillary items that he brings to the table that will pay dividends for the organization.
And can you say, I know Mr. Mack mentioned that you opened up discussions with the Blues. Was that back in May or was that earlier in the year?
The conversation he's referring to would have been within days of Mr. Stillman closing on the franchise when he bought it. So I followed up the conversation he's referring to. I followed up with Mr. Stillman the minute that the deal closed.